Hello and welcome. In this video I'm going to be going over a greedy Ottoman build order. And before I start, I'm going to be going over the patch I'm on. I'm on the official patch right now, the RE patch. So, all the Ottoman upgrades are from the church. They're very expensive, and on the ESO community patch, they're all basically 50% off for all of them. So this build is a lot better on that patch in particular. Just for the wood upgrades, you save 475 wood, and then the first upgrade, the villager build limit, you save 100 coin, and it just makes this build a lot stronger, and it feels just a lot better. So getting into it, well, first of all, let's get into the decks. This is the pretty standard deck for the most part. You could skip on some of these cards, of course, but what I'll be doing is a greedy Ottoman build order. So I have some of these upgrade cards in the deck to help me sustain later on in the game, mid game, etc., etc. You don't necessarily need them. You could totally edit it out, but generally you want like the standard Ottoman cards, like 700 coin, 700 wood, blah blah blah. 3 villas, of course. And for villagers, in this build that I particularly do, I do send it pretty much almost always, but sometimes you might need to send something else to help you out right away. And also spice trade, you could throw that out for 7 cows if you want, or whatever, or maybe 600 wood if you need the wood for like a fish boom or something. But you get the general idea here. We got the standard Ottoman cards, just more upgrade cards for later mid game, because you'll be going more eco and you won't have to rely on crates as much. So getting underway here, we got the starting crates. We have 300 wood, 100 coin, 100 food, just like a regular start. So obviously you get a trade post, but with the 400 wood, what I generally do is get 2 trade posts and then gather 100 wood for a house, or if you get a wood treasure, you don't have to gather as much, but you will slow down your age up by, I'll say 20 seconds. But the XP is actually really helpful because it allows you to send a shipment right away when you hit age 2. And it's very, very helpful because this build it gets your army slower, but your economy is actually pretty decent. And the XP can be quite helpful, as we'll see later on in here. So, so the trade posts, if you don't know the map, this might be a bit hard, but try to know the map, and you try to want to put down your trade post to where you'd get the first pass of XP, or at least the second, at a good amount of time to get your 3 villagers early on. And also you kind of need a XP to like another shipment in age 1 to spend on a card that is going to be the deciding factor for how you're going to be able to go about this game and be economical and such. So try to get that first passive XP so that you could boost your experience quite early on, so that you could have the XP needed to send another age 1 shipment. So, because as you can see right now, we're going to be sending 3 villagers or 3 settlers. And so we're pretty standard. And of course, gathering food. Yes, gather food for the age up. So, but yeah, the XP is important because we'll be sending another age 1 shipment, and that XP is also important because we don't, with the first trade, only a 1 trade post start. We don't have the 400 wood start, so we have to go with 1 trade post. We don't necessarily, might not always have another shipment available right when we hit age 2. Sometimes, depending on your treasures or whatnot, you might be able to, but for this one we don't, and for the most part you probably won't. So generally you want to get that first pass of XP on the route. So as we see here, I have clicked up at well, at a a pretty good time actually, and this is standard, I would say. But as you can see, we're aging up with the 500 food politician, which is interesting. I'll get to that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna convert that food into wood. As with this card, Subline Port transfers all of our current food into wood. Well, more wood, I should say. So as you can see, our XP, we haven't gotten another shipment yet. So this is kind of why the first pass of XP is important, because if we don't get it, this could be like in halfway. We might be able to send it in time. And I won't send it right away because I'll get to that. But while I'm aging here, herd of course, but you want every single villager on food. Well, as like, see this crate, this coin crate won't do anything because I need to. If I gather this, I could have what, 40 more food, which then would be converted into 60 wood. So just everything on food for right now, and just get as much food as you can. Same with the 500 food politician we'll be getting up when we age up. And coming up here, I'm going to be sending the shipment, or start to send it. And right now, so as you see, you could kind of tell on the bar, but generally, 1/8 from being done, 1/7 or whatever. But, and then I send the card, because I want to be able to gather up the food crate, the large food crate that I get from aging up, to be able to convert that into wood. It's generally why I send it at that time. So in standard Ottomans, you age up at this time, usually around here, and you age, yeah, 340 I would say. But you would be building, you gather up the 400 wood and be building a barracks. So this build is a little bit slower, but the economy you get from it is actually very good, especially on EP, because you could use the extra wood, and the extra coin just is a lot more helpful. Just speeds up the process quite well. So generally, when you age up, I always send 3 villagers on the large food crate right away, because otherwise you won't be able to gather it up in time. So 3 villagers on the food crate right away, and I'm still gathering food, and boom, right when it hits, as you can see, it was like 2,000, generally is what you would get, around 2,000 wood, depending on when you send it. You could actually delay sending that shipment to get even more wood if you want, but, so, you delay your barracks by a couple of seconds or so, so it's not too bad, but generally we get a lot of wood. And when we get this wood, we want to make one house, because we're going to need the one house. And now here comes the part of the map, is that, so I'll get to this right now, is that depending on the map, you may or may not want to build a market, and get hunting dogs, because that's 150 wood with market and hunting dogs, or you want to get a trade post. But if you get the trade post, we'll be upgrading it, and you'll be able to get that extra wood that you would need to make another house, to say, for otherwise, on a 3 trade post map, that is. Otherwise, if you can't get a 3rd trade post, you gotta build a market, and you probably will, but you might not. You'll have to buy 100 wood to build a house so that you could get a full batch of Janissaries out. So, with that being said, generally on this patch, I would skip, and I could get 3 trade posts. I would get the 3 trade posts, and I'd have to skip the market, because otherwise I would not have enough wood for the villager upgrades in the church. So, but on the patch, the ESOC patch, you could actually get 3 trade posts and market with the market upgrades, which is just really good. Oh, and you don't have to buy wood either, so it's just a lot better, a lot smoother. So okay, so right now the wood arrived. What we want to be doing is put down as much infrastructure as we can right away. So a trade post, of course, and we will still be gathering food, enough food so that we could get the stagecoach upgrade in queue as fast as possible, because that is a huge trade posts are just really good, so it's a really good upgrade. And then we put down our church, and we just want to get the villager training upgrades as fast as possible, so that our villagers will be training as fast as the other player, basically. So our villagers will be pretty, and then we'll have 3 extra trade posts or so. So it's pretty good. And then we want to put down a barracks right away as well, so that we could start training units to defend, or just to get a good, a good defense, or to be aggressive. However, we don't necessarily need to do that, but I would recommend it for defense. But if you're playing against China and you don't necessarily need the units, you could actually skip that and just go straight to age 3 if you want, because this build is very versatile, where you could send pretty much anything that you want. Like right now, see, we just got our 3rd shipment at 4 minutes 44 seconds, which is but if you get that 400 wood start, you could send it right away, right when you age, which is pretty good. But sending 4 vills to get that economy up, because what's going to happen is my economy, I compare this to Germany, but my economy will actually be better than them at a certain point. When I have the 3 trade posts, send 4 vills, and the 3 trade posts are upgraded, they will be better, but slightly, or good, a decent amount, right? And that's actually pretty good. And I'll just be able to have a lot better age 2 play. But generally, Germany has a good economy because of their villager shipments, so it's pretty good. So we just want to be getting these villager upgrades, and we're gonna be making some units to defend. And then we'll be sending 4 vills to get that economy up. So got the three trade posts, getting the stagecoach upgrade, and as you can see, I don't have a market because we're on the patch right now. And but generally, if you get the market, this next batch of units that I'll be making, this is the first 5 Janissaries we'll be making, and it comes out at 530, which is decent, pretty good actually for this economy build. And we just got the stagecoach upgrade in, which gives us even more XP. And you could, depending on what you want to do, you could send whatever you want here. It's versatile. Like we could set all these to wood and be fine if we want, on just 1 racks, and just keep getting a trade post line or what have you. But generally, if we get the trade post line here, the 3rd trade post, but if we had to market this, we might not be able to get this wood right here to make a house. So we might have to buy that wood for a house if we do the market and not the 3rd TP, depending on the map. But generally, you want to get that 3rd trade post. But if you can't, you try to go for a market, get the hunting dogs, and you most likely have to buy that wood to build a house, because this next batch of Janissaries you won't get a full batch. So that's generally why we want to get the 3rd trade post, and also the extra XP when you upgrade it too, if you can. Like I said, map dependent basically. So, and then we're making a market now on the official patch, but if it's on the other patch, the ESOG patch, pretty much we would have steel traps and placer mines at this time. So we got the pretty good economy, if you would say, on that patch. But right now we're just starting to build a market. But we got the 3 minutes 30 seconds 10 Janissaries. We got the 700 wood arriving. We'll be going for an age 2 style of play, and we'll try to convert this into an artillery foundry to start producing units from there, etc., etc. And you know, and our economy is pretty much as best as it'll get besides market upgrades. I mean, we just finished hunting dogs, but you know, we're starting steel traps, and then we're starting placer mines. Um, so you know that's pretty much what you're gonna get for like best economy, and then you could pretty much do whatever you want after that because your economy is gonna be basically the best that it's going to be. Um, so and another thing is that you might forget, but your villagers will stop producing after 25, so you want to get this to increase the build limit, which is 200 coin on this patch and 100 coin on the ESOG patch. You don't want to forget it, basically, because you don't want to be missing out on vill seconds, because it's pretty important. Get all those villagers that you can out, and just keep, you know, I don't know what else to really say, but this is pretty much what it's all about. You got the steel traps, hunting dogs, placer mines. You don't want to be missing on the village seconds or whatever, blah blah blah. So you get all these villager upgrades basically right from the start with this build, which is pretty nice. I'm building an artillery founder right now. This 3 husks could be anything we want. 5 Jans, 700 coin, probably 700 coin would be best, but to start producing Abyss guns or whatnot. And then, you know, our military force is, I would say, lacking to the standard, but at the same time it really isn't necessarily. Like, we have 15 Jans right now at 7 minutes, which isn't too terrible comparing it to a standard Ottoman rush. But we also have 22 vills, but I have 23, and we're gonna get steel traps and placer mines soon after that. If it's on the ESOC patch though, we already have those upgrades, and we're just a lot more we're in a better spot basically. Oh, and the church also gives 0.3 more XP per second too, so that's also very helpful towards the XP generation that you'll be using. And that's pretty much all the build really is. This is, I think, the best economy build that I could come up with for the Ottomans. Is this build, and it's actually pretty solid comparing it to standard Ottomans and what they do to get a massive army early on. But it's a little slower. It's very versatile though, and it just gives you a really good economy to compete with all the other civilizations out there, actually, besides probably, you know, British, Japan, but for the most part you'll be able to compete with them, especially with these good units you got, the Ottomans got. So for the most part that is it. Hopefully I explained everything I could, but what I mean by versatile is that we could go to age 3, so 700 coin early on if we wanted to, and then we could just do some age 3 Ottoman stuff, get some town centers, you know, increase the economy that we could get, and that's pretty much. I hope this video was helpful. I mean, I've been using this build, especially in team games. It's very good in team games, but even in 1v1s it's also very decent. So I hope this build, you know, maybe you try it out or whatever. I personally think it is the best that I could think of really for an economic land based. For sea you could do the, you know, get the wood, get schooners, and you know, but I think this is probably the best that you could get out of the economy early on for Ottomans, but while also having a decent army at a decent time too, to, you know, just contest the map and etc etc etc. So just hope this video was, oh before I say that see, right now I'm missing out on vill seconds right now because I forgot the upgrade. So like I said before, it is important not to forget that, because you don't want to miss out on that extra build there, for to say. So other than that, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it was helpful, and I guess see ya. Good luck.